Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered how a small 10-cent coin could reveal decades of Australian history? What stories lie behind its changing shine? From the coins of 1969 and 1971 to the refined strikes of 1980 and 1998. And how did the designs of 2010 and 2012 carry that legacy into the modern age? Each coin marks a moment, a quiet chapter in the nation's journey, captured in metal. Stay tuned, because what you're about to see might just change the way you look at everyday change. Our journey begins with the year 1969, a defining moment in the evolution of Australia's decimal coinage. This was a time when the nation was finding its modern identity, and the 10-cent coin served as a perfect symbol of that transition. Born from a new monetary system that had only recently replaced the old pounds, shillings, and pence, this small piece of metal represented progress, unity, and the confidence of a country stepping firmly into the future. The 1969 10-cent coin carried forward the same elegant design that had already captured the spirit of Australia. Its reverse featured the beautifully detailed lyrebird, a native creature known for its elaborate plumage and enchanting mimicry. Each line of the engraving was crafted with precision, its delicate curves giving life to a design that blended natural beauty with national pride. This was not just a symbol, it was a statement, reflecting how deeply Australians valued their unique environment and artistic expression. On the obverse side stood the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, her image calm and dignified, facing to the right. The portrait, surrounded by a clean, balanced inscription, carried the essence of continuity and strength within the Commonwealth. The contrast between the Queen's refined portrait and the wild freedom of the lyrebird created a visual harmony that made this coin stand out as one of Australia's most artistically balanced designs. Composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, the 10-cent coin had a cool, silvery tone that caught the light beautifully. It was strong enough to endure decades of circulation, yet fine enough to retain the crispness of its engraving. The Royal Australian Mint ensured each strike carried absolute precision, from the raised rim to the faintest feather line on the lyrebird's tail, making every coin a miniature work of art in its own right. In the everyday life of 1969, these coins were everywhere, exchanged at corner shops, train stations, and post offices across the country. They jingled in pockets, passed through countless hands, and quietly became part of the rhythm of Australian life. Few people noticed the craftsmanship behind them, yet each coin carried a story, a reflection of a nation's economy, art, and progress, all pressed into metal. For collectors today, the 1969 10-cent coin represents more than just a date. It embodies a turning point, a period when production quality stabilized and Australia's new decimal system had truly taken hold. While millions were minted, finding one in pristine condition is no easy task. Uncirculated examples, with their original mint luster still intact, are highly prized among numismatists and history enthusiasts alike. Even after more than half a century, a well-preserved 1969 piece still glimmers with the confidence of its time. Its balanced design and subtle details make it a standout in any collection, not for rarity, but for character. It's a coin that captures the very essence of late 1960s Australia, proud, progressive, and distinctly its own. To hold one today is to hold a fragment of history, a reminder of craftsmanship, precision, and national identity. The 1969 Australian 10-cent coin is more than currency. It's a quiet testament to a time when even the smallest pieces of metal carried the weight of a nation's story. And as we move ahead from 1969, the next chapter brings us to 1971, a year that continued to shape the journey of this enduring design, with subtle changes and a mintage that reflected the rhythm of a growing Australia. By this time, Australians had grown familiar with the silver-toned shimmer of their 10-cent coins, a reflection not only of value, but of the pride in craftsmanship that the Royal Australian Mint continued to uphold. Each coin struck in 1971 carried with it the spirit of reliability, embodying the nation's growing confidence in its new monetary system. The coin's reverse side retained the iconic lyrebird, a symbol of grace, balance, and artistry that had already captured the nation's imagination. Its finely detailed feathers, fanning upward in intricate curves, gave the impression of motion frozen in time. It was more than decoration. It was a celebration of Australia's wildlife and cultural identity, pressed into metal with exquisite precision. The engraver's skill was evident in every delicate line of the lyrebird's form. Even in worn pieces, that artistry remains visible, a testament to the enduring quality of the design. The lyrebird's poised stance and flowing tail had by now become synonymous with Australia's numismatic pride. Turning to the obverse, the 1971 issue once again presented the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, serene, dignified, and unmistakably regal. Her image reflected both heritage and continuity, a reminder that the Commonwealth connection remained strong as the nation moved deeper into its modern identity. The metallic composition of the 10-cent coin remained consistent with previous years, 75% copper and 25% nickel, chosen not only for its durability, but for its ability to retain luster even after years of use. The coin's surface shimmered with a soft brilliance that caught the light in a way few everyday items could. Each coin produced by the Royal Australian Mint in 1971 demonstrated precision and balance. The Mint had, by now, refined its techniques to ensure uniformity across every strike, producing coins that were as consistent in detail as they were in strength. For the people of Australia, this coin was more than just currency. It was a small but constant part of daily exchanges, slipped across counters, dropped into jars, and passed through generations. Though unremarkable in the moment, each coin carried a quiet story of ordinary lives and ordinary days. In 1971, there were no drastic changes to the coin's design, but that stability itself told an important story. It spoke of a nation that had found its rhythm, confident enough in its systems to value consistency over change. Collectors today often view the 1971 10-cent coin as a piece of calm within the timeline of Australian numismatics. It wasn't rare, nor did it boast unusual errors or variations, yet its charm lies in the perfection of its simplicity. Every coin struck that year stands as a perfect example of Australia's commitment to quality minting. Under magnification, the depth of engraving on the lyrebird's feathers still captures attention. The level of detail, achieved decades before digital minting technologies, reflects the craftsmanship that defined the early years of the Royal Australian Mint's operation. Holding a 1971 coin today, even one lightly worn by time, feels like holding a whisper from the past. The faint scratches and softened edges don't diminish its beauty, they enhance it, reminding us that true value often lies in endurance. It's fascinating how something so common in its day can transform, over time, into a cherished collectible. What was once everyday change is now a piece of national memory, kept safe in albums and collections across the world. The 1971 mintage, though not among the lowest, produced coins of remarkable clarity. Those preserved in uncirculated condition reveal sharp edges and clean surfaces that glisten just as they did the day they left the press. Among collectors, a flawless 1971 specimen represents more than just monetary worth. It symbolizes Australia's dedication to both function and beauty in coinage. It remains a favorite among those who appreciate the subtleties of minting history. The lyrebird, perched in eternal poise, continues to remind us of a nation deeply connected to its natural world. Every 10-cent coin bearing its image tells a fragment of that story of artistry, heritage, and identity. Through the years, the 1971 coin has quietly held its place in the great lineage of Australian currency, bridging the early post-decimal years with the later decades of modern refinement. Its story is one of quiet endurance and timeless appeal. And as the decade progressed, the next stage of this remarkable coin's journey would unfold in 1980, a year that would bring new momentum, reflecting both technological growth and the steady maturity of Australia's minting legacy. By 1980, Australians had spent over a decade living with the decimal system, and the 10-cent piece had become a familiar companion across the country. It was no longer new, but it remained trusted, a quiet witness to the country's social and economic rhythm. Whether exchanged at corner stores or tucked away in savings jars, it moved endlessly through daily life, binding people together through countless small transactions. The coin's reverse once again presented the graceful lyrebird, an image that had long transcended simple decoration to become an enduring emblem of national artistry. Its sweeping feathers, frozen mid-display, continued to captivate collectors and everyday citizens alike. Every line of its design, from the tips of its plumes to the firm stance of its feet, reflected precision and elegance that few circulating coins could match. While the design remained unchanged, the production techniques had subtly advanced. The Royal Australian Mint had adopted improved die-making and striking methods by the late 1970s, resulting in coins of cleaner detail and more consistent finish. The 1980 mintage showcased this progress beautifully, with sharp strikes and balanced textures that gave the lyrebird's image a refined three-dimensional depth. On the obverse, Queen Elizabeth II's youthful portrait continued to grace the coin's surface, a familiar sight across denominations. Though nearly 2 decades had passed since decimalization, her image still symbolized continuity, strength, and the unbroken link between Australia and the Commonwealth. Her profile, surrounded by crisp lettering, lent the coin a quiet dignity that balanced perfectly with the wild charm of the lyrebird on the reverse. The metallic composition remained true to tradition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, a blend chosen for its strength, tone, and ability to endure the wear of constant circulation. The silver-gray color shimmered softly under natural light, while the alloy's durability ensured the coin would retain its form through years of handling. In daily life, the 1980 10-cent coin played its part without fanfare. It was exchanged in millions of hands from busy city shops to remote country markets, each one carrying a trace of Australia's economic pulse. For most, it was just change. For collectors, it was a symbol of refinement, representing a decade's worth of minting mastery. The early 1980s marked a time of quiet confidence for the Royal Australian Mint. With over a decade of precision production behind it, the institution had perfected the art of mass minting without losing quality. The coins of this period, including the 1980 10-cent piece, stood as proof that reliability could be achieved at scale. Although the design had not changed since its first introduction, the enduring popularity of the lyrebird motif was proof of its perfection. Its graceful lines, natural posture, and intricate featherwork continued to stand among the most admired features in Australian numismatic design. It was not simply a national symbol, it was an artistic achievement cast in metal. For numismatists, the 1980 issue holds a particular place of appreciation. It's not rare, but it represents the peak of a stable minting era, coins struck with precision, reflecting consistent quality and uniformity. Many collectors seek out well-preserved examples for their balanced appearance and fine surface definition. Even circulated pieces from 1980 tell a story. The faint marks, scratches, and softened edges are gentle reminders of time past, of hands that once held them, and the countless exchanges they witnessed. Each coin, though common, becomes a silent archive of Australian life. Uncirculated specimens, however, reveal the coin's true beauty. The lyrebird's tail feathers gleam under proper light, while the queen's portrait shines with mirror-like precision. These untouched examples capture the mint's full craftsmanship, as if time itself paused at the moment of their striking. The 1980s also brought subtle shifts in public sentiment, a growing sense of national pride and cultural independence. Though the coins still bore the Queen's portrait, Australians increasingly viewed their currency as uniquely their own. The lyrebird's presence on the reverse reflected this pride perfectly, an icon born of Australian soil, representing artistry that was distinct from the rest of the Commonwealth. This period also marked growing global recognition of Australian coinage quality. Collectors abroad began taking notice of the country's meticulous minting standards, and coins like the 1980 10-cent piece found their way into international collections, admired for both beauty and precision. Despite being a circulating coin, the 10-cent piece carried an unmistakable elegance. Its design achieved what few modern coins manage, a timeless balance between art and utility. Even today, decades after its minting, the 1980 issue stands as an example of how consistent design can retain its charm across generations. Those who come across a clean 1980 specimen today often find themselves captivated by its subtle shine, a glimmer that connects past and present. It may not be rare, but it is undeniably significant, representing an era of craftsmanship and stability in Australia's numismatic journey. To hold a 1980 10-cent coin is to feel the culmination of 2 decades of evolution, from the experimental years of the 1960s to the confident mastery of the 1980s. Each piece is a silent witness to the refinement of design, material, and meaning. The lyrebird, immortalized in its dance, and the queen, eternal in her calm dignity, together embody the essence of a nation finding its strength in both heritage and progress. And as we leave 1980 behind, our story continues toward 1998, a year that would bring not just the continuation of a legacy, but a renewed sense of precision and artistry in the coinage of a changing Australia. By this time, the coin had already become a familiar part of everyday British life, exchanged in countless transactions, its copper-plated surface symbolizing stability in an ever-changing economy. Its presence was both ordinary and iconic, the kind of coin everyone had, yet few truly looked at closely. On the obverse, the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II remained the dominant figure, the monarch facing right, embodying grace, continuity, and authority. This design, created by Ian Rank Broadley, offered a more realistic representation of the Queen, showing her with maturity and dignity that reflected her long reign. The attention to fine detail was extraordinary, from the sculpted curls of her hair to the delicate outline of the royal crown. Every feature carried a deep sense of respect for the throne. It wasn't just a portrait, it was a symbol of endurance through decades of change. The reverse of the 1998 coin continued to display the iconic badge of the Prince of Wales, a design by Christopher Ironside. 3 ostrich feathers bound by a coronet, encircled with the German motto Ich diene, meaning, I serve. This emblem had been an integral part of the 2 pence since 1971, and in 1998, it remained a mark of royal pride and timeless British identity. The combination of these two designs, the Queen's refined portrait and the enduring heraldic badge, made the coin both historically meaningful and artistically balanced. It wasn't simply about currency, it was about legacy struck in copper. Each piece weighed exactly 7.12 grams, with a diameter of 25.9 millimeters, precision that reflected the Royal Mint's impeccable quality standards. The uniformity of every strike ensured that no matter where in Britain the coin circulated, it carried the same dignity. The copper-plated steel composition gave the coin its distinct reddish tone, a warm glow that symbolized trust and value. The use of steel beneath the surface was a step toward cost efficiency, showing how traditional design could evolve with modern needs. Over time, these coins developed a unique patina, a soft darkening that made older pieces look aged and distinguished. Each worn mark told a story of hands that held it, pockets it rested in, and decades it traveled through. In 1998, coin collecting was becoming more popular than ever, and enthusiasts often set aside these pieces not for their face value, but for their connection to a living history, a tangible reminder of the British monarchy's enduring role in daily life. The edge of the coin remained plain, an intentional design choice that preserved the simplicity and elegance of its round form. The absence of lettering or decoration allowed the central motifs to speak louder. For numismatists, minor variations in color tone, strike quality, or even minting imperfections added a fascinating layer of intrigue. The slightest difference made each coin distinct. No two pieces aged quite the same way. Many collectors admired the Rank Broadley portrait as one of the most accurate and humanized depictions of the Queen in British coinage. It marked a clear shift from earlier, more idealized renditions toward authenticity and realism. The 1998 coin thus represented more than just another minting year. It was a reflection of transition, an acknowledgement of time passing yet tradition holding strong. As with all coins, circulation gradually took its toll, edges dulled, details softened, yet the design's integrity endured. Even decades later, the central motifs remained visible, still carrying that proud British identity. In its gleam and in its wear, the 1998 two-pence coin captured a quiet beauty, one that did not rely on rarity or precious metal, but on its enduring purpose and meaning. It moved through countless hands, crossing generations, silently connecting the present with the past through the shared act of exchange. And though small in denomination, it stood as a testament to the enduring artistry of the royal mint and the lasting legacy of Queen Elizabeth II's reign. From pocket change to collectible treasure, the 1998 two-pence coin remains a modest yet powerful emblem of British heritage, a story struck in copper, still echoing through time. As the 1998 two-pence coin carried its legacy into the new millennium, the design remained unchanged, but its journey continued with remarkable consistency. By 2010, this very coin was still in active circulation, a silent witness to over 4 decades of British history. Its copper glow, slightly dimmed by time and countless exchanges, stood as proof of the royal mint's enduring craftsmanship. Now, as we move to the 2010 issue, we see how tradition met the modern age. A coin still widely used across the United Kingdom, carrying the same royal pride with every touch. The 2010 Australian 10-cent coin continued to feature the same timeless artwork that had become part of the nation's visual heritage, the lyrebird. Designed by Stuart Devlin, this proud creature with its extravagant tail feathers symbolized creativity, beauty, and resilience, all qualities mirrored in the Australian spirit. The reverse side retained the magnificent detailing that had made the design so iconic. The lyrebird, standing gracefully with its tail plumes unfurled, appeared to dance within the metal, its feathers flowing upward in elegant motion. Even after decades, this artwork never lost its charm. Instead, it became a reminder of the nation's unity through artistic continuity. On the obverse, the coin continued to bear the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, but this version reflected the monarch's later years, a more mature and regal likeness created by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley. His initials, IRB, could be found just below the Queen's neck, a subtle but important detail that identified the era. This portrait, introduced in 1999, showed a refined balance of dignity and realism, with softer contours and a lifelike presence. It stood as a symbol of endurance, both of the Queen's long reign and of the coin's consistent place in everyday Australian life. The composition remained faithful to tradition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, giving the coin its distinctive silvery tone. Its diameter of 23.6 millimeters and weight of 5.65 grams ensured a perfect balance between portability and presence. Though technology had advanced, the Royal Australian Mint maintained this trusted standard with exceptional precision. The 2010 10-cent coin entered circulation widely, a direct continuation of its decades-long legacy. From vending machines to supermarket counters, it was a constant companion to millions of Australians, quietly bridging generations and decades. In terms of mintage, 2010 saw a large number of coins produced to meet public demand, as the 10-cent piece remained one of the most frequently used denominations in the country. While higher-value coins were being phased toward digital alternatives, the 10-cent coin continued to prove its everyday relevance. Each coin, though small and simple in appearance, was the product of meticulous craftsmanship. The striking process used advanced technology to achieve sharper details and cleaner edges, allowing even casual observers to notice the precision of modern minting. Under natural light, the 2010 issue often appeared with a smooth metallic luster, while circulated examples took on soft gray tones from years of handling. This visual shift gave every coin a personality of its own, some bright and reflective, others dulled by the passage of countless hands. For collectors, the 2010 edition holds modest value in standard condition, but pristine uncirculated examples are often sought for their quality and their role in marking the coin's modern phase. The continued use of the rank broadly portrait makes it a defining piece of early 21st century Australian coinage. The coin's edges, featuring a finely reeded pattern, maintain both function and form, offering tactile recognition while adding an elegant frame to the overall design. The craftsmanship reflected the mint's balance between durability and aesthetic refinement, two hallmarks of Australia's minting excellence. Though digital payments were rapidly growing by 2010, the 10-cent coin remained a tangible reminder of value, a symbol of exchange that could not be replaced by screens or numbers alone. It represented real connection, the simple act of giving and receiving, one coin at a time. Many of these coins from 2010 still circulate today, their faces slightly worn, yet their imagery unmistakable. Each one tells a story of endurance, from a time when coins were still an essential part of daily commerce, not just collectors' treasures. The Royal Australian Mint's continued production ensured that the 10-cent coin remained available and relevant, sustaining trust in the nation's currency system. Even as designs and portraits evolved, the heart of the coin, the lyrebird and the queen, stood unchanged, echoing tradition through the years. For historians and numismatists alike, the 2010 10-cent piece is a bridge between generations. It connects the early decades of decimal currency with the digital era, a small artifact of continuity in a rapidly changing world. It stands as proof that some designs transcend time, needing no alteration to retain their meaning or appeal. The lyrebird still dances across its surface, as elegant and enduring as ever, embodying the essence of Australian identity. And as we turn the page from 2010, we move toward the 2012 issue, another chapter in this ongoing story of beauty, consistency, and resilience. Even in a world rushing toward cashless convenience, the humble 10-cent coin continues to shine with quiet dignity. The 2012 issue carried with it all the familiar beauty that had defined the coin for nearly half a century. On the reverse, the majestic lyrebird stood proudly as ever, its long plumes rising and curling with extraordinary elegance. Designed by the renowned artist Stuart Devlin, the image remained untouched because it didn't need change to remain relevant. Each feather of the lyrebird still glimmered with the same delicate artistry, a perfect balance between natural grace and geometric precision. The design was not only a tribute to Australian wildlife, but also a quiet celebration of national craftsmanship that had endured since decimalization in 1966. The obverse continued to feature the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by sculptor Ian Rank Broadley, the same effigy introduced in 1999. This version of the Queen's likeness showed maturity, wisdom, and enduring presence, a reflection of both royal longevity and the coin's own unbroken legacy. Her image was sharply defined against the polished fields of the coin, with every curve and contour rendered in high relief. The inscription, Elizabeth II Australia 2012, framed her profile neatly, marking another year of unwavering continuity in the nation's minting tradition. The 2012 coin was struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, using the same trusted composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Its silver-colored sheen and solid weight of 5.65 grams gave it a satisfying presence, instantly recognizable by touch and sight alike. Despite the rise of contactless payments and online transactions, millions of these coins entered daily circulation across Australia. They jingled in wallets, vending machines, parking meters, and charity boxes, silent witnesses to ordinary moments that defined everyday Australian life. The striking quality of the 2012 issue was notably crisp. Minting technology had evolved, allowing the dies to produce sharper detailing than ever before. The lyrebird's feathers appeared more refined under light, and the Queen's portrait showed improved clarity, subtle differences that only a keen numismatist might fully appreciate. Circulated examples of the 2012 10-cent coin quickly began to show light wear, especially across the Queen's cheek and the center of the lyrebird design, where coins naturally made contact during handling. Yet even when worn, the imagery remained strong, testifying to the precision of the mint's work. Collectors often view the 2012 issue as a modern continuation piece rather than a rarity, but in high-grade condition, it represents the best of contemporary minting quality. Brilliant uncirculated examples exhibit a mirror-like shine that makes them standout additions to any decimal collection. Each coin carried not just value, but a trace of history, a continuation of a design that had survived political shifts, artistic trends, and economic changes. In its consistency lay its strength, a reminder that true classics never lose their appeal. By 2012, the Royal Australian Mint had perfected the art of maintaining both heritage and precision. The coin's edges were sharply reeded, providing tactile familiarity. While the overall design remained visually timeless, it was not just currency, it was craftsmanship in miniature. While the 10-cent coin's face value seemed small, its role in the nation's economic and cultural life remained significant. It was the kind of coin that passed quietly through generations, from pocket change to collectors' albums, from supermarket counters to savings jars. Many Australians still remember the feel of the 10-cent coin, the cold metal resting between their fingers, the faint sound of it dropping into a coin slot, the gleam of its silver tone catching the light. It was a small, daily symbol of connection, reliability, and routine. The year 2012 thus stands not as a year of change, but as one of reaffirmation. It confirmed that even in a world driven by digital transactions, tangible currency continued to carry emotional and historical weight that screens could never replicate. For historians, the 2012 issue is another piece in a remarkable timeline, an enduring reminder that Australia's decimal coinage has remained both beautiful and functional for nearly 5 decades. For collectors, it is a testament to quiet perfection. The coin's survival in circulation today, even more than a decade later, shows just how deeply it remains embedded in Australian daily life. Few designs have achieved such timeless presence, and fewer still have done so with such grace. As we look beyond 2012, the Australian 10-cent coin continues its steady path through modern history, unchanged in form, unmatched in familiarity, and unbroken in spirit. It remains a shining emblem of Australia's national identity, quietly linking the past to the present with every exchange.